We've been promising this cool down, and people are probably looking out the window.
When? It's not here yet. Yeah, and it will get here. I think you're going to really notice a difference Sunday morning especially, and then Monday is incredible. We'll be in the 50s. We have a couple more 90-degree days, but we don't have the oppressive humidity later on today. And by the way, we've got a new accident that I'm going to talk about in traffic that's popped up on I-65, and it could be a real troublemaker. We'll get to that in just a moment. Look at Carmel this morning, a place that's probably going to be up to about 92, 93 degrees. This is radar, and if you're headed out to work or school, no problems here. In fact, Portland, you guys had some rain earlier this morning. When we first went on the air, we had 14 counties with rain. Now, just one. Okay, later on today, and then through Friday, it is going to be warm, it is going to be humid, but we don't have any heat advisories, though that heat index could be up around 95. I do not think we'll have a heat index of 100. I think it's going to be primarily in the low to mid 90s, but hydrate because it's going to be a hot one. 75 out there right now, 67 Kokomo. Bloomington, you're at 74, and Richmond's at 71. We still have high dew points, folks. It is really muggy out there, but again, we're in the 60s. That's better than the 70s, but it is humid, so make plans to take it easy and find some shade during the day. 72 by 8 a.m. during the rush hour. And the NHRA U.S. Nationals continue today with sportsmen and Hemi qualifying. 85 at 1 p.m. That reflective heat's going to come right off the asphalt there at Lucas Oil Raceway Park with 90 at Brownsburg today and 91 downtown in Indy. Okay, let's talk traffic now, and I want to tell you that the information is just coming in on this. So here's I-65. This is 71st Street. So you're north of Lafayette Square Mall, that whole area. And we're seeing now the beginnings of a backup on 65. This would be over 82nd Street. Now you'll notice here we've got a disabled vehicle, and this lane is closed. This truck's backed up. They are down to one lane here. So what's happening is we may actually have two wrecks here. It's possible. You'll see one lane here, emergency personnel there, and then this disabled vehicle. So if you're going 65 near 82nd Street, you're going to have this issue. This is 69 near 465 where we've got another disabled vehicle, and so one lane is closed southbound there. Still not too big of a problem. Fishers to 465 at 65 miles per hour, 69 to 70, also on 465 at 65 miles per hour. Julia.
Chuck, thank you. Well, in just a few hours, an IMPD sergeant will appear in court in connection to 14 counts of child exploitation that he's now been charged with.
Javed Richards is out on bond right now after pleading not guilty to those charges. Let's get to Sia New Yorker following this morning from the Community Justice Campus. Good morning, Sia.
Good morning, ladies. Investigators say they have evidence that shows that Sergeant Richards may have had a flight book, and so they are requesting a GPS monitor. Here's what we can tell you about the case. Sergeant Richards posted a $4,000 bond last week and was released after turning in his guns and his passports. Court documents show the investigation into Richards started when detectives with IMPD's Internet Crimes Against Children got a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that someone in Indianapolis was downloading and sharing child pornography. 1 week later, police say they got the evidence. The IP address linked with those videos came back to Sergeant Javed Richards. Now, they say there are at least 12 videos ranging from 2 minutes to 15 seconds. Now, that hearing for Sergeant Richards is scheduled for later this morning. Count on 13 News to bring you all the latest on air and online. Reporting from the CJC, Sia New Yorker, 13 News.
Thank you, Sia. This morning, we are working to see if charges will be filed against a mother and another man after a toddler got a hold of a gun and turned it on himself. So new court documents reveal the mother was picking up a man in a DPW facility parking lot after work. Police say the man grabbed his gun out of his truck and put it on the floor by the passenger seat. While the woman was gathering other children that were playing outside of that car, they say they heard the gun go off. Well, they started driving to the hospital, but the woman called 911 and pulled into the parking lot of that Wendy's restaurant at Harding and Morris to wait for medics there. A relative tells 13 News that the boy came through surgery at Riley. Right now, the mother and that man face preliminary charges of neglect of a dependent. The other kids that were there were released to their father. Well, in the last 10 days, at least 6 children have been involved in shootings. 13 News talked with Mayor Joe Hogsett about these recent shootings involving these young victims, and police say 3 shootings were kids that got a hold of a loaded firearm and then shot themselves. Hogsett says he shares just how much these cases are preventable.
If you're going to be a gun owner, make sure you're a responsible gun owner and keep the guns out of the hands of kids.
Well, he reminds people who need them that there are so many resources and free gun locks available in the community. Several libraries offer them, and you can also reach out to police departments and sheriff's offices as well.
You know, I've been living here peacefully. I'm a widow. I don't bother anybody. So I don't know what this person or person's plan is. I don't know what they want.
A very strange case here. This morning, an Indianapolis woman is dealing with several cases of vandalism to her home, which has cost her thousands of dollars in damage, as you can see here. She told us it's gotten so bad she's had to install cameras around her house. So that noise you hear is the sound of the bag full of paint exploding as someone runs down Paulette Caldwell's driveway. Since February, she's been dealing with vandalism of her mailbox. You could see that paint that was splashed on the side of her home and that handful of nails that was left in her driveway. Now she says she's starting to get some strange letters being sent to her home as well.
We haven't done anything to anybody. I wouldn't want this to happen to you. I would help my neighbors. If I knew something or saw something, I would do it.
Caldwell says she has notified police for help, and we've reached out to see if they are investigating this case and can provide any updates for us.
Well, in just a few hours, a permanent memorial will be unveiled in Westfield for the victims of suspected serial killer Herb Baumeister.
Gina Glaros joins us now with this story as we look ahead to the memorial service that's happening this morning.
Good morning, ladies. It has been 30 years since investigators found thousands of remains buried on 18 acres behind Baumeister's Westfield home. And now police know there are at least 13 victims out of the thousands of remains found in the mid-90s at Fox Hollow Farms. So 2 years ago, the Hamilton County coroner reopened this case with the hope of identifying more of the bones and bone fragments still sitting on a shelf at UIndy. He Knows Your Name Ministry has spent the past 15 years burying unclaimed babies and adults in Marion County. And now they're helping the Hamilton County coroner honor these victims.
It's a matter of justice, and I felt like when I heard Jeff tell this story, I knew in my heart that it was time. I could not get over the fact that we've gone 30 years in this community by ignoring this whole scenario.
Yeah, that memorial will have the names of 9 men whose remains so far have been identified. And behind the memorial, there will be a place where victims' cremated remains can be placed in the ground. A funeral for one of the victims, Jeff Jones, is also set forth this morning. That memorial for the victims will be dedicated at Hamilton Memorial Park Cemetery. That's at 10 o'clock this morning. Our Rich Nye will be there.
And we know this means so much to a family that have in other ways not had closure. Gina, thank you.
Well, right now there is a new website put up for city county workers to report harassment anonymously. This follows allegations made by 3 former employees against Thomas Cook. He was a former chief deputy mayor in the Hogsett administration. A city spokesperson says Indy's Human Resources Department will run that website until they select a third-party vendor to actually manage it. So Mayor Hogsett also signed an executive order mandating sexual harassment training for all Metro employees.